Dear Dhamma friends, today also this is our time for the question and answer session. So as usual, as yesterday, we'll start with the written questions. I would like to invite Doctor to present the written question on my please.
First question. Dear Bhante, what is meant by Vitakka Vitara? Is it another name for storytelling of the mind? Please explain. Thank you.
Whenever, of course, Vitakka Vichara is being translated into English as applying thoughts and discussive thoughts. Whenever it is beyond discipline, restrainment, the mind takes its own desire to apply the mind to whatever the desirable object, according to your likings and disliking, and accord with that particular connected object, storytelling going on, or studying the object, studying the taste of the object, happening, that is called vichara, or discussive thoughts. Whenever the meditator try to advert one's mind, that's a very vitakka he is using to apply to the primary object, and very vichara, the discussive thought used to understand the secondary primary object, understand the applied object as to what are the natural characteristics, person characteristics. So therefore vitakka vichara either way beneficial or non-beneficial, depending on the your restraining capacity or disciplining capacity. So the whole meditation needs to take these two under your control, under mastery, and then they will work as obedient servant, otherwise they are sending you mad.
Next question. Dear Bhante, how one can maintain focusing on the primary object while attempting to develop skills in Satipatthana, which in brackets Vedana, Chitta, Dhamma, in daily life. Please kindly guide me. Thank you. Respectfully.
As far as you are maintaining the mindfulness, it is none of your responsibility. Mindfulness will guide you. Whenever you try to be smart, you are rather misguiding them. So that is why it says, just simple, be in the present moment, be with your body, there is kaya vasana. And once it is developing, it is cascading to the Vedana-Vasana, that is cascading to the Chitta-Vasana and Dhamma-Vasana. So whenever you try to manipulate it, definitely it is working for the bad. So therefore, once Chitta-Vasana is finished, you have to just put the autopiloting. The meditation will take care and it is leading. That's a gift. So there is nothing to worry about. Your main thing must be to keep the primary object or your bodily posture in view it, and rest will come along as an endowment or as a gift for you.
Last question. Dear Bhante, I have quite many years of irritable mood, upset and angry towards my spouse. I observe my mind and negative actions. These are not healthy and causes problems in our relationship. It is very difficult to hear and see things as they are. From your teaching, I have to develop strong mindfulness skill to solve this problem. Is it correct? Anything else can help me with this problem? I need to decrease and stop the negative karma towards myself and others. With gratitude.
This is not an individual problem. Every one of us has the same. So we hate the society, we hate our close people, so therefore we are utterly in an agony. The primary cause is you hate yourself, so therefore you hate others. So if you wish to have any kind of spiritual or any loving kindness, love yourself. Moment you understand you will understand your dear and near one, medium, and the hate everyone. But you can't start with outside. You can't end with outside also. First and foremost thing is, make yourself as your best friend, and then you will find everything, every world is more greener than what you think. So this very simple formula, you hate others means you hate yourself. You love others, well, others means you love yourself. So therefore the Buddha says, mind your own business, be mindful. Then others will be, everything will be sorted out. But instead what we are going to do is, we try to be smart by meddling with the external, never ending. So therefore meditation never appear like aesthetic. Meditation never appear like love making, but meditation does. Whenever you develop, you understand who you are, then the relationship with not only with your spouse, not only with your other mediocre majority of the people, not only your hateful people, you love plants, you love animals, you love rocks, you love gardens, you love rivers, everything, because you love yourself. So everything is on your hate, self-hate. Our whole smartness is due to the self-hate. That is why the whole gamut of questions. Love yourself and see the children, they don't hate their body, so they are lovable people. Even the hateful people wish to see children, because their hate goes. They never hate their body. That is their beauty. The flowers, they never hate their body. That's why it appears beauty. The plants never hate themselves. It is beautiful. But the human, always, each and every action, you hate yourself. The moment you see, you find there's no second person to curse you. There's no second person to create suffering. Your very rational thinking, or your very smartness, always against the great, always against the nature, always against your well-being, always against your dear and near one. So you find fault with the dear and near one, but the root cause is within yourself. So be in here and now, not only going to give the enlightenment through vipassana, but it teach you the art of love, how to love yourself. So therefore, whenever you here and now, you are developing so much of loving kindness. Even though you are not reciting loving kindness, even though you are not doing any kind of thing, by being with yourself, loving yourself, everything happen in the universal code. So therefore, for the moment, forget about your spouse. See how long I can be with my body. How many minutes, how many seconds, how many thought moments I can just keep the body symmetrical and relaxed. Be with the body. And each and every time you do it, you give a answer to this external question proportionate to the amount of thought moments you are mindful.
So Bhante, I have a question. So if you love yourself and at the same time if you practice Kayanupassana, part of Kayanupassana is to see the body parts as sort of rejectable, sort of dirty things. So is it not for everybody, or is it for a particular reason that we have to do that?
Kayanupassana have 14 modes. One thing is Anapanasati, one thing is your posture. So these are the starting points, and then you go to the elementaries, you go for the posture junction, you go for elements, you go for purification of the body and purified bodies. Many things are there. So starting point is be with your posture, be with your, if the good or better, with the breath. So when it is happening, if you are, when and where you try to be with your body, you develop lust, you develop sensuous pleasure or sexual pleasure. For that only we recommend the purification of the body, the repulsive nature of the body. Otherwise, without that kind of a prescription, if you are going to take this kind of a prescribed drug as over-the-counter drugs, you get iatrogenic effect and then no way out. So that is why the traditional ways, they always, for the sake of just apply the developing the purification or Asura Bhavana, both the parties do not know it's a kind of hate element. You must use it for that particular disease, not because it is over-the-counter medicine. So therefore, whenever you practice Anapanasati, whenever you are practicing mindfulness of the body, then you can understand when and where you be with the body, if that thought moment is perverted towards the sense pleasure, sensuous pleasure, or lust, or erotic feeling, or sexual feeling. Under such circumstances, you can take as antidote, not otherwise.
I thought that is the last question, but we got some additional questions. Thank you. Venerable Bhante, it is interesting how everything that Bhante has taught us about human nature exists within us, but we haven't noticed it ourselves. The mind is attaching to the ego, wanting the lion's share and wanting to be better than others. So many of my thoughts can trace its way to these defilements. We are used to praising ourselves and having or expecting others to praise us. We have been raised in this competitive world, so we have been conditioned to think this way. Not only are these egocentric thoughts a natural way of thinking, it is something that I have encouraged. I recall things to boost my ego. I think about how far I have come and about the things I am grateful for. This way of thinking is really centralized on God's self. If these thoughts are to maintain a positive mindset and do not wish harm on anyone, is it okay in a normal layperson life to think this way? Thank you for your advice, Dhammajiva.
The last sentence, that even is it okay for a normal person to think this way, that way presenting is not clear. That means whether it is egocentric thinking or universal humanity in thinking. And so would you mind to the person to remind whether it is thinking about non-egocentric or non-one-upmanship thinking or egocentric or one-upmanship thinking?
I think if we think about things to make ourselves feel good in terms of just thinking about how far we've come and our accomplishments, or things people have said that made us feel like praises that people have said to us, that doesn't really cause harm or wish harm anybody else.
Why you are calling this as a normal person, and why would you discriminate the normal person with the meditator in that sense?
Because in meditation, we try not to get our mind distracted with other thoughts, and these are thoughts that don't help in our meditation. So in meditation, we try to be in the present moment and not think about other things. Whereas when we live life, when we go back after retreat, we can't be in the present moment all the time. So that's what I was wondering.
I don't get the discrimination. First thing my question was, you have defined in your letter, in your question you have defined in your letter two kind of thinking. One thing is egocentric, one-upmanship, and how to get the upper hand. And in the meditation retreat you have learned there's another way, that is not to encourage that kinds of egotistic, not to encourage that kind of one-upmanship. Out of these two, to the last sentence you say, as a normal civilized human being, is it okay to think in, not in egocentric, not in the conceited thinking. So now, in your explanation, you mentioned in meditation retreat, you are not supposed to think in that. Instead, you try to be just mindful. When you go back home, whenever you try to be mindful, and is it okay to incorporate the second kind of thinking? But still, you are the very person, whether you are in the retreat or whether you are before retreat or after retreat. Simple thing is, do you have the choice to think this or not to think that? You think that you have the choice to go for the egocentric, or just be neutral mindfulness, or go for non-egocentric.
No, we don't have choice.
So then what is the question?
So I was thinking that since this is a natural way of thinking, when we think in an egocentric way, which is that brings a negative emotion, say if we want to be better than somebody else, or like if you think like that, like if you want to do better or see yourself above other people, that's a negative way of thinking. So if through mindfulness meditation you can notice yourself think that way and try and make those thoughts not come into your mind. Whereas if you're just thinking about, say if you did something great and you can be proud of yourself, and if other people praise you, you can reflect on that and think, it just helps to make you feel good about yourself. So I was thinking that those kind of thoughts don't really cause harm to anybody. So just to be aware of what kind of thoughts come into your mind. So if anything positive comes into your mind that doesn't harm anybody, just think that it's okay, that it's there. Whereas if something comes into your mind that you realize, okay, this is negative, to say, I want to be aware of that and make sure those thoughts don't come anymore.
Still the situation is not clear, but this is a discussion. We can proceed. One thing is your pronunciation, I can't tell. Accent. But I am fairly good at the good that you have presented the early part, our parents, our society, is pushed you towards the egocentric, pushed you towards the one-upmanship, the conceit, and grab hold the lion share. So therefore you are born to that. You have no option. And don't think it is happening in 2015 in America, but it is the exact case during the time of the Buddha back in India. It has never been deteriorated, it has never been improved. This is what you call the society. Society is utterly corrupt. Don't think. But that doesn't matter. The Buddha gave such a potent, high potent medicine, you can cut it. So therefore, we are not going to deal with the society. We are not socialists. We are not philanthropists. We can't do it, even the Buddha never thought about that. All the other elders think they can do it, that is why they can't meditate. They are thinking about making the society better, making the others better, making the environment better, so much so they go crazy. The Buddha gave very simple, though it is not very rational to think, save your present moment. Here, nowhere. If at all you to do, these three dimensions has to come together. Only here, not the all over the world. Only now, not the future and the past. Only me, not the others. It appears very selfish. But this potence of this medicine is working only here, nowhere. So when and where you be here, now you are aware that I am sitting, I am talking, you are listening. So as far as you know it, it is not feeding egotistic, it is not feeding conceit, it is not feeding holding, grabbing. So therefore, that very thought moment, here and aware, not very attracted by our rational mind because it is not getting the fertilizer. It is not getting the food. So that is why mind is jump into other object because it is more nutritious, it is more juicy. it is more sappy, that is our tendency. You can't blame yourself, because this is the way it has been conditioned. So your humble, simple method must be, soon you come to know how you are in a daydreaming, soon you come to know that you are in fantasizing, bring humbly back into the here and where, and see what are the ways and means for you to increase this thought moment within a given 1 hour, 1 day, 7 weeks, and more you introduce in this neutral alternative. Each and every thought moment is replacing that putrefied, conditional, egotistic thinking. Understand? Moment you give one thought moment, that thought moment is replacing that filthy thinking. So fill this again and again with this. But Burmese masters, they say, so this bottle of water is filled with, we'll say this is an empty bottle, it is filled with polluted air. So no wish to get out. What you can do is, you can fill it with drop by drop of pure water. Each drop replaces a same volume of purified air. But the thing is, this mouth of the bottle is so tiny, you can't put water. Even if you hold it against the waterfall, water never goes in. Even if you put into the basket of water, it never goes in because it is very tiny. The here now I am is so tiny. So what you have to do is, you have to put a thread into that small tiny hole and keep vessel of water so that it is like a wick, drip by drip, it taking. Each drip it is taking, it is replacing purified air. So this is how my responsibility as a yogi, if we believe that here now I am is a neutral thinking or neutral state of mind, more and more it comes, it replaces the purified thing, conceit, egotistic and desire, tanna, ditti. More and more you feel, ultimately whenever the mind becomes confident about the here now I am, it is lack of friction, lack of tension, lack of frustration. Now your mind have a different mindset. Earlier it was completely purified, whatever you think is purified. Now it is somewhat, maybe 10%, 20%, 30% of here now I am. With that kind of a mindset, you can have a hope. Don't think that you can either go into this purified thinking or go into this non-purified thinking. Both of them are temporary. Both of them won't go into your lasting answer. Best thing is to fill it with an inert matter or neutral matter. So the reason is, your mind asks, bloody hell, what is the use of this neutral matter? We have to be economic. We have to be socially justified. We must be so politically justified, collecting inert matter, neutral matter. Our rational mind never understands. We say, we can do it after we become 60 years old. Not beforehand, because we have precious time to earn something. We have to earn this and that. Throughout unto the 60s, you carry on accumulating and accustomed and getting rusted with this thinking. And the Buddha says, little too late. Therefore, I am very happy to have some young people here. I am not totally hopeless regarding this old crock. Talking. Because they are the people inviting young people, not me. This is not the first thing is they have to get convinced. We're too late, we are accustomed to this, our beetle chewing, chewing gum chewing, smoking. I mean, it's hopeless. And the young people, when they come and understand, more you acquainted with the purified thing, you are purified. You can't directly go into the double positive. The Buddha, so pragmatic, so practical, he introduced neutral matter, inert matter, and it is tangible. But very difficult for you to reason it out, rationalize, why should I appreciate this inert matter? Why should I appreciate this neutral matter? The world is changing behind fertilizer, food, sappy, juicy nutriments. For nutriment for what? Egocentric, conceit and desire. The neutral thing is at least don't do it. Therefore, Sappapapassakarana, first do no harm. That's why the Socrates mentioned to the doctors. Don't worry about the health of the people. As a doctor, as a science in medicine, don't harm people. That is the very thing now killed by the medicinal science, presently. They are killing. They have forgotten what the Socrates said. Buddha mentioned much earlier, Sappapapassakarana. Main thing you have to do is make this present moment not putrefied, not defiled, and you can, as you mentioned, try to go for loving kindness and lack of egocentric idea, lack of conceit. Our mind cannot. Only you have to fill it with neutral or inactive, that's something like alcohol, or something like water with the pH 7. Fill it with. Once filled only, that mind can understand more of the Buddha, and that mind can take self-control rather than this mind condition. So therefore, many people think, don't misunderstand me, many people think loving kindness is a very good thing. To make loving kindness, you love yourself first. Without loving yourself, you are shouting with the loudspeakers, may all the beings be happy and wealthy and healthy and all the kind of thing, but you are self-hate. Your source is incorrect. So whatever you are radiating is filthy. So in meditation, even in the here now here, even though it is not addressing to the metta, it's utter physical metta. You love your body, therefore that is not egotistic. To have this celibate life, I must have a fairly healthy and mentally healthy body. And my be here and now is not to assume and not to put you on a pedestal and start whitewashing, unconsidered. You just understand a human being, fellow beings. And we are not going to grab, I am going to get the first jhana, I am going to get the first makapa, nothing. Even the spiritual thing you are not aiming, because our mind is always camouflaged. This is nothing. You are just keeping the present moment pure. Present moment infiltrated by germs. Be here and now. And the most precious, most important, most encouraging thing is the present moment no one can predict. It's a human right. It's a birthright. Whether you know or not, different issue you also mentioned there. You do not know this, never mind, but the Buddha is the one in a way, appearing and telling, darling, you are a human. You can come into this solace, the oasis, the pure state, here now I am, no one can deprive you. Unless otherwise you are ignorant, unless otherwise you hate yourself. And unlucky thing is, you can't give it to someone also because no one appreciates it. And you appear like mad if you are going to give. No one can rob it from others also. So it is no one's authority. So it is not Buddhist. That very be here and now is not Buddhist. But the Buddha is the founder for the first time and tell you and everyone, I also was like you. I also had this same thing. I had a wife, I had children, I had the kingdom, everything. So I am also completely filthy. Then I understood this is filthy. Then I wanted to go out, no one to teach. Everyone teach formulas. Everyone teach theses. Theories, all shit. No formula. Whenever you go to formula, you get another slave. It's be here and now. need no any formula. But as you mentioned, it never cross for a single person this as the escape. Buddha has to come. It's such a mighty task of the Buddha. And then you have to try. You have to believe first, put into practice first, and then with trial and error. When you are practicing, if it is catching the momentum, more and more frequently, you be here and now, whatever may be the filth in between, never mind, coming, it's a great hope. It is not depending on time and space, whether Buddha's time or whether it's America. When it's keep on doing, you understand. Instead of trying to be positive or instead of trying to be socialistic or in terms of political independence of the being, mind your own business, be aware. And whenever possible, whenever interact with other people, don't interfere anyone's cycle. Any interference is bad. Good or bad, never. Parents think they must influence their children in a good way. Parents, if they are bad, how can they influence the good way to the children? If the government leaders think my subject must be well led to the good thing, but bloody fellows are filthy. They are power crazy. How they can lead another country? But I being a subject, I being an individual, I can let anyone to rule the country. Never mind. I am concerned about here and now. And the 2 points I would like to stress is, first thing, you have no choice whether your thought is egotistic or not. Don't worry about it. No choice. It is happening in the heart of momentum. Instead, you can select the neutral. Here now I am, and that never happens unless otherwise someone praiseworthy, credible person come and tell you. And second thing is, your mind must digest it, stomach it, and then only you put into practice. But throughout the early part of your practice, you can't understand why should I take so much of interest to keep my state of consciousness in the neutral position. Why not it is be positive? Understand the trick. Understand the trick of the defilement. Don't let it be positive. Just be neutral. Just an idiot. As a person, no eyes. As a person, no ears. As a person, no senses. As a person has no thinking power, just believing what the Buddha is telling. And then, once these 2 points clear, you find no points, nowhere the station can happen. No room for stress to happen. Because you are not, they're just down to earth. You consider everyone is equal. And not with that race to one-upmanship. And the things are happening according to the cause and effect relationship. I am completely ready to embrace whatever happening. Not try to be smart even as a meditator. Simply if you are going to say, I am the only person meditating, my friends are not meditating, my relatives are not meditating, that is something sick. And it is your meditation is not one-upmanship to put you on a pedestal. Of course, they will tell you are mad. I am very happy to solve that. My whole relatives and friends say I am mad. Easy. I say once in a way I play a little mad to justify them. I am not going to give that I am a purified being, I am a superior, nothing. That is the way you ask in trouble. So, for the younger generation, what I am telling is, whenever you are meditating, I would say, restraining yourself in the physical, verbal way, or concentration way of wisdom, if someone other comes to know, you are inefficient. Understand? Very difficult. But I can give you a good example. When people get drug addicted, they keep that bad habit hidden. Exactly, meditation is addiction. Don't let others know. Then you are creating enemies. Behave like a citizen job. I am just yet another grain in the bed of sand, grain of sand, nothing special. And always your mind try to be mindful, be here and now. So don't try to be smart to go from double negative to double positive. Instead, mind you, there is some intermediate stage where the neutral, passive, inert stream of consciousness is so valuable when compared to our rut, when compared to our defilements.
I understand what you're saying, but I feel that at the state I'm in now, because I'm a beginner, to get to the neutral position is really hard. And trying to notice my mind, like what my mind is thinking, and trying to bring it back to a neutral position. I feel that it's a big step. So that's why I initially thought that just getting rid of the negatives is kind of a baby step to get to the neutral mind. Because trying to completely not think of anything in terms of positive or negative and just keep a neutral state, I think has been sort of making me feel a bit low. So I was wondering if maybe just thinking about like neutral and positive would help me slowly get there.
The one statement you made, that is you find difficult to keep the mind in the neutral position, that is not true. Any time it can take, but our mind never appreciates it. Any moment it can come to the posture. Even if you are in a seriously sick and painful, ridden by pain, it can bring, but our mind never appreciates. Therefore it is not a physical impossibility, it is a matter of mentally we are not appreciating. So that is why we have to associate that kind of people, those who are appreciating it, listen to it, discuss it, and give as much as promotion. It is not mere impossibility, it is mere lack of appreciation. And therefore, next thing is, you still hate, according to your statement, you hate the negative feelings. So you are creating another kind of autonomy. That negative feeling is not yours. It is a propellence created by, you are mere observer. And when and where you are becoming, try to get rid of negative feeling, that means you are accumulating new seeds, because each and every moment is hate. You hate negative feelings. So that is also negative feeling. So therefore look at it. Once you condition, brainwash, you can commit suicide, no problem. The suicide bombers, it is not a big thing. Big thing is to be neutral and to be appreciated. So coming into the neutral, we can within few seconds, any person can be introduced, no problem. But the appreciation takes aeons. So therefore it's a psychological pain, not a physical pain. It's a psychological appreciation of the physical coming to here and now. So therefore, as far as bringing the attention to here and now, irrespective of the sex, irrespective of the age, irrespective of the knowledge and birth and everything, it is very simple. But the thing is to convince that particular person, that is the Buddha, that is the Nibbana, that is the whole path. No one accepts. Because it is not a big formula. It is not a complicated formula. Everyone expects big, long formulas and all the kind of thing. They never simply appreciate this present moment. So therefore, again, you have to understand, it never happened overnight. It never happened by single talk. It never happened by single stroke. It has to happen repetitively. That is the way our mind corrupted also. Mind got corrupted also. Other side also, repetitive application is the only secret. Thoka thoka, kane kane. Each and every moment, little by little. Then that momentum Of course, it has taken more time to get corrupted, but the Buddha's medicine is so high potent. By repetitive application, whole gamut of defilements you collected through aeons, from a split second you can cut. And again, another split second you can cut. And when it is happening, you gain the mastery, gain the seasoning power. And you learn this as an adventurous thing. As a Girl Guide or Boy Scout, let the negative thing happen, you never react. You try to bring the attention to the middle part. Not try to be smart and double positive, not try to get rid of that. You see, whatever it happens, can I be here? And even if it is not with the breath or not with the body, you can understand how I am thinking about bad thinking. That's also you are here. So only the thing is, object is not material, immaterial, but you know, because it is very prominent, you know now bad things are happening, I am aware, I am thinking. So when and where time permit, you know where to come back the body, where to come back where the breath. And for the moment, a serious visitor came, you are out of your house, you are catering for visitor, soon finish, you come home. So when that is happening, when that art you understood, it is not necessarily you to be in a meditation center, meditation hall, or sit on a cushion. Whatever the posture, whatever the place you are, if you understand, then that lifelong experiment can continue. And not necessarily you to be enlightened, that very thing is enlightened. Very thing is electric. Very thing is impromptu. And you may be difficult for you to explain someone, but nothing to explain because you are getting the benefit then and there. And ultimately that becomes your second nature. The habitual thinking is still taking place overall, but as a second nature, this is whatever it happened, never mind. I have my high potent medicine, free of charge, free of place and the time, incorporate when and where possible. Whenever that becomes your second nature, then each and every situation you have an alternative. Not like this, the conditioned people doing in the madhouse. You have a second thing, you have the alternative to think about. And the brilliant thing in your life will be, whenever you see there is another person who is also mindful, also not thinking in the rational way, conventional way, they have kind of a second option. So then you understand, I am not overnight, I am not isolated. There are some few people, more than economy, more than politics, more than other kind of thing, they think about the innocence in the present moment. They are the disciples of the Buddha. All the other side camouflage. They are cheating themselves. Can't help. Because they never wish to be pure. So therefore they think they are very efficient in economics, very efficient in politics, very economic in social, but they are destined. Recently also I met one very brilliant person in economics, and he never go to meditators, he never appreciate religious because he think everyone is second when compared to his economic thinking. And luckily he came and asked just a simple question. Then I told, okay, in positive world you are the captain. Mind you, there's a negative world in there, you don't know. You're completely, utterly lost. Of course, that person almost lost. He was about to faint. To understand there's other part that economic policy does never apply there. Then he's asking what to do. Then I told, don't worry, keep on doing what you are doing. Keep your mind. You know only very little percentage of the world, and over there you are the king. And so much so you get involved there, you forget about the balance of the world. So keep that just space open. Instead, we meditators, of course we have our political life, we have our economic life, we have our social life. But don't take that bloody thing to engulf your whole life. Keep a fair portion. And when you ask someone how many hours you can meditate, or someone is asking me sometimes, when we as beginners, how many hours I should meditate. I say 24 plus 30 minutes. All the other creating tension. All the other creating frustration. This is the only eraser. And you are asking how much 23 hours and 30 minutes for tension and 30 minutes for eraser. See how hateful we are to ourselves. How we like torturing, sadistic, masochist. And Buddha has given us such a potent thing. And we have already applied ourselves and we have a little bit of tangible experience. And they don't ask this nonsense question. Make all 24 hours if possible mindful. Do whatever you like. Do mindfully. Not necessary to wear white clothes throughout. Not necessary to sit on a cushion in the meditation or throughout. Nature will let you know what to do. Do as the nature gives the cause. And do it mindfully. And ultimately you find, at the beginning yogis are asking, what is the best place to develop mindfulness? Then you have to say, go to a forest and sit under the tree and come to this place, take 8 precepts, wear white clothes and be with other, blah, 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 blah. Well, ultimately when you experience, you will say, I cannot be mindful. Everywhere, every moment you can. So that is what you call the seniority in your meditation. So therefore, you have already started. You have done about 66% of your task. You have appreciated it. And you have tested it. And it is a way of now how to maximize. Once you appreciate, maximization is inbuilt. Mind finds ways and means. It is nothing to teach. So therefore, appreciate it again and again. Main thing I am doing to loving kindness to myself is try to be here and now. Of course, due to past habits and environmental situation, I am pulled here and there. But never mind. I will try to be mindful. Don't worry about the posture. Wherever it may be mindful on your present moment, and you find easily you can develop this as a second nature. And then you will plug into the other people, those who are also mindful. And there you find you are not lost. Always is minority people mindful. Or absent-minded world is the majority. Don't worry. That you can't wash and kill. Only mind your business, be mindful.
It's a two-part question. During walking meditation, when I am in a good state of mindfulness, I have noticed my vision become more vibrant in color, and the ground that I am walking on does not seem so distant as it did before. When this happens, my mind is focusing on the visual sense and no longer on the feet. Is this a case of being distracted by a byproduct of meditation? My primary object is the feeling of the sand on my feet with each step. Can I choose my vision to be the primary object? That's the first part.
So I would like to give an explanation from different dimension. Whether you are try to be mindful on the soul touching the ground, or you are trying to be mindful on the overall walking, whatever may be you can do effortlessly, that is the most efficient method. From the effort to the effortless, from the craftsmanship to innocence, this is happening. More and more you mindfully walking in the same place for a number of times. The thing happens as a one single unit. You can be aware as if you are coming out of yourself and you are looking at yourself as a third person or like a video camera. Things are happening. may not be so in detail, may not be so geared, may not be so adverted into this is left, this is right, this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is... But generally you know you are walking, and mind is fairly in the presence, and that is more advanced than the lifting, dropping, moving, left, right. Of course, through that training only you have come up to that effortless kind of walking. This is not applicable to the walking. Any task you do in a routine way, in the day-to-day activities, just apply mindfulness, first with noting. Supposing you are chopping vegetables or cutting maybe some greens, so you can understand how can you apply the cutting each and every stroke by noting, stroke by stroke by stroke. Once it's come up to the familiarity that without noting, there you can see mechanically how it is happening. And there's nothing to call meditation, you are just observing. And further as you can see, while it is happening, you can see you are like a puppet or robot, programmed, and it is how it is doing the task in the uniform way, and you can observe. So this is the way it is developing. So walking is the starting point where you do little bit of intentional work, and if you are doing in a solitude place without someone's observance or surveillance, and when you keep on doing, you can see not noting by individual steps, overall unit you can see. So it is of course a byproduct of your early meditation, and now about to take autopiloting by the machine. So let the machine to run by autopiloting, but you are fully vigilant, fully diligent. And if it is go wrong, you can simply note again, left, right, or lifting, moving, dropping. But when and where the machine is ready to autopiloting, you are the only person can understand the situation. The teacher can't teach you. No book or no technical writing can let you know. But whenever it is happening, see, it is happening now effortless way, and you can put, this is the solitude, this is the innocence. The body is walking, and you are aware. You are the very person. Body, you are the very person observing, and you can see just like a baby from the sitting position, going to get up and going to take few steps for the first time, and tottering and learn how to walk without falling. It's hilarious. It is more than a champion in Olympic game. In a life to stand and walk. Exactly where when you are walking, without dropping off your mindfulness, without bewildered, without wandered off, just keep on mindfulness overall. And then you can see everything is happening in a harmonious way, rather than bit by pieces, bit by bit, or pieces by pieces. So therefore, whenever that such situation happens, you must promote it and let the machine to run in an autopiloting way.
Second part. I don't understand closing all five senses within us, that is vision, touch, hearing, tasting and smelling. Because what does the mind observe in the present moment then? I feel that walking and noticing the breath focuses on the touch sense. Please advise.
The last sentence again.
I feel that walking and noticing the breath focuses on the touch sense. Touch sense.
It is a mistake that when you are in walking, don't try to meddle with breathing. Walking is with the left leg and the right leg. And to make the matter simple. And sitting only, you don't do anything, that is how the breathing comes into being. So while walking, if you try to be with the breath, that you have to explain, is it something happening or something you are doing? Under such circumstances, you are messing up the machine. So therefore, let the machine to walk and just observe. And the early part is confession, telling I can't do away with these 5 senses. Of course, each and every sense, organs is fighting its own rights. It is the one-upmanship. That's a conceit. We all 5 consider as myself, but whenever individual organs are concerned, there is a fight in the internal. I is the winner. I always get the cup because it knows how to suppress hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. So that's why when the list is given, start with I. Whenever I is at failure, then the ear gets the upper hand and they suppress the rest of the thing. The nose, the tongue and the body takes whenever the leftovers. So this is the way it happens. So whenever Jnanavira, so one of the very senior monk, he was a British army soldier and he was completely taken to solitude, and ultimately bad side of the story is he got a severe stomach pain or gastritis, ultimately committed suicide. So before committing suicide, he wanted to do with polythene bag and put a rubber strap. And now he is breathing and breathing exactly the same air, slowly oxygen layer going down. And he feels how the body is fighting. He says heart is fighting against the other parts to get the last drop of oxygen. Lungs fighting somewhere there. Each and every individual organ is fighting for the last drop of oxygen. Even though it appears like a myself. So at that moment, he removed the bag and put a note. Today I opened the bag and I was in that situation. Tomorrow definitely I can go further and can commit suicide. Next day, of course, he did it. But the last letter he says, our organs themselves are fighting each other. So therefore, out of these 5, they are very hostile to each other. And fighting, so no peace. Even in the sleep, no peace. Still you are grumbling and chewing and fighting, and you can see your face if you can put a television camera to your face. So therefore you can't do. But the single trick is consciously select your sitting posture. Consciously select your breath, for example. And try to keep as much as possible in the midst of all the distraction. One day you may report, I can keep the breath face to face for a period of time. Maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, fairly unhindered by others' distractions like thoughts, sounds and pain. And when you keep on observing the breath, your main motto, idea must be, when and where I observe the breath chronologically unhindered, what are the evolution of the breath? How it metamorphoses against the time. That is why you keep it face to face. So immediately start to become soft, become subtle and subtlest. If you are not adding anything, if you are not adding any unwanted fighting and analyzing and all the kind of thing. So one is subtle. As far as body, your mind is face to face with the body, your eye and visual object already shut down. Ear and hearing is shut down. Nose and smelling is shut down. Taste and food shut down. Only the tactile sensation and the body, the sensitivity is working. And imagine when that breath also disappeared to appear, then where is your mind? So already cut off from the ear, eyes, nose, tongue, only with the body. And if you are lucky enough to see that is also disappearance, then you can see kind of experience, kind of consciousness unrelated to objects, unrelated to sense organs, but you are high, totally living, fully vigilant. You know you are at the center, not manifested as seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, but you know it, and that is the theoretically, in meditation jargon we say is, we have another kind of consciousness unrelated to faculties. And that is the only moment you can say living. Rest of the part is partial living. You are living only one organ. That means that particular organ is suppressing all the rest. But here, no suppressing, no capitalizing person. You can be, but many people are frightened. They lose their ego, they lose their conceit. So therefore, they again touch their body and they start breathing, or they fantasizing, or giddiness, or headache, or nauseatic feeling, or allergic reaction. Many things happen whenever the mind comes to the center, where it is not related to organs, or otherwise it slips into sleeping. It's so slippery. That area is so slippery. Each and every one of you have gone. Everyone has gone, but you hate it. You develop fear. Because your ego is not there. Your conceit is not nourished by it. You can't grab hold it as mind. So therefore, when and where it is going there, immediately you jump to the next object in order to recognize that is what is happening at the end of the out-breath. Always mind automatically go to this point and you feel nauseatic. Immediately you go for the next incoming in-breath. You never wait, you never patient enough to see the last drop of the out-breath. Last drop of out-breath is not related to any organ. But you can't experience it because your mind is so agitated. It is not subtle. It is not refined. It is do not know how to trace from known to unknown, from gross to subtle, explainable to unexplainable, the crafty mind to the innocence. So therefore it is not lack of availability, it is mere lack of appreciation. Each and every moment you go to it, but you hate it, you have phobia. That is called neophobia. That's called fear of unknown or fear of new. So we are so conservative, so traditional. We always find reference point to reconfirm your ego, to reiterate your conceit, and something to grab hold. It is like a person taken away by a current. Grab hold whatever may be, see, in order to save yourself. So in meditation it is very effective. But your rational mind is always reacting, always assuming, always disturbing it. So that is how the friction, that is how the irritation feelings are happening. So meditating one thing and the appreciation of this lack of friction or lack of organs or lack of impingements, you have to do trial and error and then go prepared. Then the early part of the question also you can rewrite. Occasionally I can experience some kind of experience, consciousness, not related to organs, not related to any impingements, but this mindfulness is there, concentration is there, the consciousness is there, that is the comfort zone. That is the moment you can say you are just living, otherwise you are just a slave to the organs, you are just a slave to the other impingements. So that is what called sensuous world.
We have one more question for Dhamma. During first 2 days of the meditation retreat, I found it difficult to focus on the primary object while suppressing my thoughts that constantly came to my mind. At the end of the day, I felt mentally drained. After listening to the Dhamma talks and advice on mindfulness, meditation, I learned to just observe the thoughts coming and going while focusing on the primary object, without expectations. Now I feel mentally relaxed at the end of the day. Last 2 days I have observed periods of not having any thoughts, seeing a yellowish background for about 10 to 15 minutes, when focusing on the primary object. And when a thought arises, I am aware that my mind has drifted and I can bring it back quickly without frustration. Advice to improvement is appreciated.
Fairly good reporting, but still I need one clarification to make the situation very crystal clear. Whenever that is reported situation where the background is yellowish, what is your relationship with your primary object? Still you can feel the primary object, or you are completely cut off from the primary object, or you are completely imbibed and engulfed in this whitish background or yellowish background. Or can that particular person give a witness, eyewitness?
When I see that I can still feel it.
You can keep the mic like this.
When I see that I can still feel it.
So can you give the explanation when you see through your white background, yellow background, how does breath appear? Is it gross or subtle? Is it far or near? Is it desirable or undesirable? Gross, subtle, what kind of?
It's subtle.
That subtlety happen in all of a sudden, or it is a gradual becoming subtle? So if it is to make more subtle, what should you do? If I ask the question back to you. To make it more subtle, now it's on the process of becoming subtler and subtler. And if your main task is to make that subtlety continue, what must you should do? What must be your responsibility? What is the way you facilitate it?
Keep focusing on the values.
Whether it is white or yellow or black or whatever, each and everything is nothing but a distraction. So your healthy reporting or memory is telling, earlier it was gross, now it has come to a subtlety. That is what you call evolution. That's what's called changing nature. That's what you call the metamorphosis. Now, all of a sudden the yellow came, now you grab hold into yellow and you thought it is important. Moment you think, you drop your right hand. So that is the crime. That is the mistake you have done doing. And I mean, it is not the criminal mistake to beheaded you. As far as you know, it is being subtle. Now, it is easy to give it your baby to your hand. Say, now darling, you have been up to that point. To make it more and more subtle, what you should do is do nothing. Anything you do is disturbing. Am I correct? So therefore, but you must understand, this white and everything is nothing but to disturb you. So they come. Don't think to stop them also. They are coming, they are not covered. You get misled by taking interest of them. And instead you have your own registered savior. So keep on doing, and more you go there. Of course, you have to have this kind of mistake little by little, refine yourself little by little, and then only you will understand what to do whenever the situation happens. No one can come and help you at that time. So when you go there, you learn the art how to do nothing. That is what we call putting into autopilot. Let the meditation happen. Don't try to smart thinking that white is better than blue and blue is better than something other. So if you're going to give any interpretation, you become immediately eccentric, and your innocent operation of make it subtler and subtler is disturbed. So that is why ego is coming. That's the where conceit is coming. That's the grab holding of the yellow coming. So your hand is very slippery, even if you have hold it slips off, but you know what is to maximize. Maximize the subtlety. In order to maximize the subtlety, just do nothing. Doing nothing. Or in a positive language, just be. Or protect what you have earned. You are the very culprit can disturb. No one. That is what you call ignorance. That is what you call the craving. So don't crave anything. Don't develop ignorance. Let that trend to be continue as it is. So we can say becoming more and more subtle. Withdraw yourself as much as possible. Let anything happen, no, don't worry. And then you find the middle path, least frictional path, or comfort. Or even at that yellow color, you feel the comfort. You start to feel. You feel the lack of friction. But you make yellow, make out from others and think this is something special. That is the ignorance. Got the point? Can you repeat it?
So in that state, I just...
You have to say the what state?
When I see yellow,
yeah.
When my breathing becomes silent,
yeah.
I just have to continue focusing on the breath, in-breath and out-breath, and take very changes of the color changes and everything like that.
Still wrong. You can't focus. Now no breath, no in-breath, no out-breath. Now everything is get messed up. The general phenomena is there. You can't separate it out in-breath, out-breath. You can't focus. So that means you are meddling with it. Now meditation know that doing nothing. Nothing means nothing.
Just observe.
Observe. Or put autopilot. You just be. And you got the balance, don't disturb it. Your ignorance is the single thing can disturb. Your craziness, craving. So these are the two factors Buddha says. The craving nature is the immediate culprit. Ignorance is the faraway culprit. And you try to smart. You try to make formulas out of that. You try to make theories out of that. Bloody idiot. Ask mind to mind your own business. I am going to put my machine on autopiloting. Give it to the Buddha. Give it to Dhamma. Give it to Sangha. Give it to precepts. And just see, how can start doing nothing? That is the way you learn the art of protecting the very treasure you have earned. Can you repeat again, please? No, your voice is not enough, not strong enough. You have to speak to the mic.
So when you see color change and suddenly in the breath, I just have to observe without doing anything, I guess. Just observe what's happening.
Appreciate the way path. Expect more and more subtlety, more and more unexplainable thing. So you must sacrifice your body and the life. Develop the faith upon the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and your precepts. Let it happen. That is the end of the written questions. If there are any other things someone would like to raise, we can take little time because we have additional 10 to 15 minutes. Otherwise, we are going to take this time for walking meditation. Okay.
May I ask this question? About I think not yesterday, day before yesterday, there's a question. You answered the question for the mind. When the mind wanders from the primary object, and when you bring it back, you have a realization that mind has been wandered. So you are bringing your mind back to the primary object. The same thing can happen when you are in a conference or when you are, paying attention and suddenly the mind wanders again. So what is the distinction? What is the difference between when you are meditating and when you are in a conference and mind wanders?
It is near the difference between the two main objects. In sitting, main object is neutral, that's not dramatic. But in the conference, what is your object?
It's a kind of a business or your,
So that's your aim is busyness. Here aim is silence. Business means busy. You make yourself busy.
But But the thing is, you have the same realization.
No, it's okay. Your realization is to make yourself busy. You are torturing yourself. Whether you come back or go out, no difference. The people are very busy. They are business people. They are torturing themselves. They don't know the solitude. They don't know the peace of mind. They don't know the contentment. They always keep them busy. So whether you busy on daydreaming or busy on a conference theme, both are the same. So both of them are barbarians. And very masters, you people, I know. I have been in the business world for 6 years. Yeah, I am very efficient than anyone in your world. So therefore you are masters to torture yourself. And don't go to the God and say, please save me. And give dana and ask the dana merit to save you. Because throughout the day you are busy people, business. Well, you just go into the front mirror, you see your image, not my image. Not Dhammajiva's image, you see you. That whenever you make yourself, you understand who you are. In your performances are telling who you are. Yeah.
I think what Chan is trying to say is, if you are listening to a speaker during a conference, your primary object is to listen to the speaker and listen to what he or she says. But sometimes your mind wanders off from that listening.
Yeah.
And you realize that your mind has wandered off. And you try to bring it back, but in this case it's back to listening to the speaker.
Yeah.
But in meditation, we try to bring it back to the neutral position.
Yeah,
Asking the difference between the two.
Bring
it back, yes.
To what you select as your home.
Yeah.
So that selection is yours. It is not someone's. So therefore you are the very person selected. The conference is more important than sitting and be here and now. What do you say?
Sitting and...
The one Westerner Buddhist is in a very nice way. He says each and every being has a fate. Even the ant, even the honeybee, because otherwise they can't be busy. They are from morning to evening, they are busy. More than you people. You go to a honeycomb and see how nicely organized, how clear, and how everyone communicates. And no cell phone, no infrastructure, no highways. Each and everyone is having the faith. So who is putting that faith into the most beneficial thing is what you call the true man. It is you are the one putting your faith on the conference or in be here and now. However you turn your vehicle and when you accelerate, it can't be this way. So if you can't understand the going to the conference and sitting be here and now, two different or two object, primary object, two houses, no use of asking the technologies, no use of asking the way, speed and the direction. The basics is wrong. I mean, basically you are not demarcated, discriminated, so then, so your whole fuel and everything is the torturing machine. Got the message or still any?
I still have this, that realization when you are meditating, that realization bring it back to the primary object. Whereas there in the conference, you are bringing back to the that time of event. It's two different things.
That is true. That is true. That is extrovert. This is introvert. Buddha is completely scientific. Buddha is completely systematic. He says, whenever you put that systematic scientific thing is outwardly, you are in a hell. Whenever you put inside, inwardly, you are in heaven. You are the person selecting whether it's extrovert thing or introvert thing. Don't think that the conference people is deciding.
But once they both bring back your mindfulness, just forget about the conference.
Not to the mindfulness, that is mindfulness. Mind is full of business. So mind is very fully, and it says there's a very cartoon is there. A man is walking with a dog and nicely open, the sun is there, flowers and everything. Dog is mindful, its environment is so nice. The man is mindfulness, how to eat money, how to get food, and he is dog walking, and his mind is full of mindful.
No, but let's forget the conference and the business. Just say meditation versus listening to one of your Dhamma talks.
Yeah.
So there you are listening. Your mindfully listening. Your mind wanders up. And you're not listening. So you realize, and you bring it back to the mindfully listening. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as bringing back to the source is concerned,
yeah, that is your
mechanically it is okay.
Yeah.
But if it is going to the inward journey, it is called insight.
Right.
If it is outwardly, it is called science.
Right. But
That science is a hell. It is a torturing machine because you pull outwardly. Whatever the degree, whatever the PhD you get, it is hell. That's 200 years humankind misled by this so-called science. So, exactly the same science Buddha is telling, bring inwardly or inside, and the method is the same. I mean, you can use the pistol to kill enemy or to kill yourself. So, I mean, you can't blame with the pistol. Pistol is the thing, it is shooting. So therefore, this technique, you can use it. That is what you call business Buddhism. Now they are going to use mindfulness in order to develop the attentive power. It is not for Nibbana, but it's for healing and curing. That is what happened in America. That is called business Buddhism. And you have to pay $550, nothing much. So you can make money. But when you ask to be here and now, how the hell you can make a commodity out of that? Can you sell it?
So may I ask this question then? So you were referring to the Buddha's mind. I don't know whether I got it correct. So bringing back that when you are in meditative state and when you realize that your mind has wandered, that bringing that energy, that split-second thought, is it a Buddha's, even Buddha had experience? You mentioned something in that.
This is the human nature. Human mind is self-discovering. Self-realization is there. Buddha used it in an advantageous way in order to make it mindful. All the other scientists, even the prostitutes, are doing the same, putting attention to it. All the business, all the advertisement, they're doing the mind, putting into that. They are very efficient, but for what? They have their own agenda. But here, you can't find an agenda. Because it is coming home, back home. You can't find agenda.
You said define some of that.
Agenda. Best word is agenda. Iti says there is no agenda. The agenda is worst. Whatever the agenda is, it is mercenary. It is butchery. It is hell. So, but because the Buddha mentioned, you can have a mind without agenda, no self, no conceit, no desire. Whenever agenda happens, these three are really propping up. Ego, conceit, and holding this thing. So therefore, you can't do away with that. That is not what I am going to say. What I am telling is exactly the same technique. That is why the teaching Buddhism to the learned people is easier, because they know the technique. But the thing is putting into the reverse gear to inwardly, very difficult. Very difficult. So therefore, if it is so, as Virli she mentioned, when we listen to the Buddha, when we listen to the Venerable Sariputta, or when we listen to the Dhammajiva, bringing back, what is the agenda? And listening to the conference speaker, what is the agenda? Do you think it is up to the speaker's responsibility? No. I mean, they have their own agenda. You are subject to that. More and more listening, you become more slave to that talk or speaker. But here, you are listening to yourself. What am I? Who am I? What is the present moment of sitting, because that no one can disprove. We here and now experience, no one can disprove, because it is not depending on someone's suggestion. This is totality of your experience. That you hate it. Your mind finds boring, very slippery. There's no agenda. Our mind is so accustomed to the agenda. So therefore, we find thought moment without agenda is something lost.
But in both instances, you are listening. You are not in present moment.
No, not in?
In both instances, whether you are listening to a Dhamma talk or to a conference speaker, you are a listener. You are not in the present moment.
Yeah. Agenda. Yes, you are listening. Maybe you are observing, you are listening, whatever may be, but what is the agenda? Yes?
So if I may add to Bangku's point, what he's saying is you are using the same tool or the same methodology, whether you're in a conference and your mind gets diverted and you bring it back to the speaker, or if you're listening to a Dhamma talk, you bring it back to the talk. But the underlying thing here is, when you bring it inwardly to yourself, if you were to consider the three options, inwardly to yourself is far superior than bringing it to the present moment of a conference speaker or a Dhamma talk.
Yeah, because the underlying listening is
because that's the agenda.
The conceit, ego, and those things are not there when you are listening to Dhamma. You are trying to get rid of it. But
even if it is available, Dhamma talk as well as your thing is to understand it. So therefore, more and more you understand, you are getting rid of your ego, your conceit and your desire. So therefore, you are erasing of your agenda here. Externally, it is extrovert-introvert difference, and the whole knowledge, worldly knowledge is extrovert. Introvert, you can't call this as knowledge. So therefore, extrovert knowledge is almost equal to ignorance. That make you artificial, your innocence gone. Moment you depend on the external knowledge, you are no more innocent. You are very crafty. You are very grabbing. You are very egotistic. Very conceited. And if you know it, very beautiful. You are driven by such and such tendencies and you know it. And you are happily tell other friends. Earlier I was crazy chasing it. Now I know still I am chasing. I know it. So that is the Dhamma, friends. That's a Dhamma discussion. So we have to still tell. Still it's a bad thing. But when and where it is happening red-handed, you can understand the motivation coming from egotistic idea, motivation is coming from conceit, motivation coming from grabbing. So you can understand no agenda, no motivation. Mind is bored, either sleeping or monotonous. Very difficult to sit and wait. But listening to Michael Jackson, no problem. Which is not a mistake of Michael Jackson. Luckily he passed away. It is you. And always therefore reflect back and see this very particular action you are motivated by what? What is your agenda? And don't ask neighbor. He do not know. Don't ask Buddha. He do not know. You are the very person. If you are not concerned about, you are your very enemy. You are very torturer. You are a butcher. This is what we call escapism. Always amuse yourself with high-class theories and kind of thing. You are missing the present moment. You are eccentric. You are no more innocent. You are no more solitude. You are no more in content. You are no more in peace. Don't ask peace from the World Peace Organization. They are bloody idiots. They are making commodity out of that. Through World Food Organization, United Nations, that fund, this fund. It is happening here and away.
Then what is the definition of mindfulness is to be here and now? That is what is happening. in both cases, it will bring the mind to here and now in the case of conference or in the case of meditation. So the definition should be changed to say that it is, inwardly.
No, mind you, that in question, the mind is come back not to here and now, it's mind come back to the conference.
The
Conference. And that decided by the conference or you.
But it is this moment.
No.
It's not the past, it's not the future.
Your question is to define the mindfulness. Mind was to be here and now. But in the conference, your attention should be here on the conference. That selection to be in the conference, whose idea? Instead of being here and now, you think it is much better, much egotistic, much give conceit, much give the grabbing. So that is why you justify going to the conferences more than be here and now. And that decision is already done. And achieve that more efficiently means you are more go to the defilements. So therefore,
but still that is also here and now. Because you are listening to something happening now.
Not now. Yet, if you are hearing, you are here, not with yourself, you are with the speaker.
Yeah, but at that moment.
No, your attention is not bringing here. You are bringing attention there.
Even when you are listening with here.
No, that is not the word. If it is so, your content never goes in there if you are listening really. Content is there because, and there in a conference, one of my friends, he was a professor, he has gone to Thailand and given a talk and telling, when listening takes place, it is happening at the speaker's mouth or at your ear. So everyone says, it is at the speaker's mouth. But what is happening is at your eardrum.
Right.
But whenever it is happening in the eardrum, whatever the sound, it is exactly the same vibration. But you are coloring it, the conference sound, this is the distraction, that kind of thing. All that is your imagination, not the sound will come and strike. You encode and decode that all action is due to Tanna Mana Ditti. According to your value system, that you never recognize. It is happening then and there, because you are already conceited. Before going to the conference, you selected conference is much better than your solitude. You are being here and now.
So if I understand the mindfulness is always if you yourself do something.
Here, now I am.
Something that you like, say chopping vegetables, and you are doing it, so that you are mindful, but not listening to something outside.
If you are mindful, whether you are listening, whether you are seeing, everything the same taste. Whenever the mind comes back home, it is decoded everything to the energies. So whenever you to see, this is seeing to the hearing, hearing to the smell, that means mind is already corrupted and put values into these energy waves. Energy wave collapse into the matter according to your consciousness interaction. Without interaction of the consciousness, they never collapse into matter. Then you can't recognize them, they are just energy waves. Don't think that energy wave carries the message. Energy wave carries the energy, you put the message, you put the content according to your likings and disliking. So that is what the hallucination usually takes place. So this is luckily, now in the science, they have proved, the Schrodinger, he mentioned, Schrodinger energy waves collapse into matter whenever consciousness interacts. Otherwise energy is energy. They have no messages. They are not defined or collapse into light energy, sound energy, smell, taste, everything is not there, potential is there. The ability, possibility is there. Your craziness, your craziness, your desires put value into that, and that is the way you see. Therefore, what you see, that you are. Wherever you go, there you are.
So if you are listening to Dhamma talk, that's mindful.
Exactly that way. that when the Venerable Sariputta is giving that talk, some people get enlightened, some people would have regarded Venerable Sariputta giving long talk and he is having a pain. He can't get up and go. It depends. The person who absorbs it. You call it Dhamma talk, but the person he is cursing. You would have cursed the Venerable Sariputta saying that it's a long discourse. How long you have to sit and wait? It's a source of kilesas. So he won't call this as a Dhamma talk, he will call it a nonsense. He's talking the same thing again and again. So therefore, you are the person telling Dhamma talk, you think Dhamma talk has a fixed value. No, it's a volatile value. According to the person, according to the circumstances, it's valuable or invaluable, it depends. We are looking from the Theravada point of view. But everyone is not from that point of view. It is changing. Okay, you have taken 40 minutes. 20 minutes, sorry.
So it was a very difficult.
Not difficult. It's very, very easy because you do not wish to understand. You try to justify the conference is better than meditation.
It's not that.
Exactly.
It applies to everybody in their day-to-day life.
Yeah, that is I appreciate. I appreciate. That is what we have to talk. Not what is written on the rocks. We have to talk about something day-to-day apply. And you are the very person selecting and deciding. And therefore it is very nicely, it says, in a minimum particle has two qualities, velocity and the mass. Whether it is taken from hydrogen or helium or whatever may be, the minimum particle and the velocity and the mass. If you are focusing your CERN machine to the velocity, you can't understand the mass. If you are focusing to see the mass, you can't understand the velocity. So telling that each individual particle has two properties itself is an imagination. At a time you can see only one. Whenever you see speed, you can't see the mass. Whenever you see the mass, you can't see the speed. As far as you are in a conference, you cannot be solitude. As far as you are in a solitude, you cannot be in a conference. If you go and be in a solitude, means you are sleeping in the conference hall.
I think one way or the other, I think this probably is the difference. You are listening to something that gives you Yoniso Mansikara, that's mindful. You are listening to something that gives you Ayoniso Mansikara, like business.
You can say Samadhi, Samma Sankappo, Ayoniso Mansikara. These things are by single variable, very difficult to discriminate it. There are a lot of variables.
Yeah.
To be here and now, one thing. And the agenda is one thing. Your view, your perception, your Samma Sankappa and Yoniso Mansikara. All these are at your hand. Anything you read according to your investment. So day by day you have to understand which is more beneficial for me. Don't tell the conference people mislead you. No. You have your decision.
So the agenda is the one that the Tanna, Mana, Ditti. Those are the three things.
Yeah, with the agenda also cut into three. You are trying to get the economical, or conceit, or egotistic. And that also can be further divided into many, that conceit also, avamana, adimana. Many shades are there.
Mostly conference calls are for to see whether the company is progressing or not.
Can I go?
You should.
And if you have time, go to a conference and see. There's a one YouTube, world stop for 5 minutes. And one girl below 13 years of age giving a talk to the UN representative. I don't know what she got the chance, and she tell the fellows the truth. You are running the world and we are the people yet to come, and you have already destroyed our future. Can you stop it? And she says, I came all the way, my plane ticket was earned by the people below 30. And I am telling you, you earn this conference. You go and give this money to children like me back at home. They are not appreciating you. They appreciate give us the pure land to live, not this corrupted one. So therefore you can listen. World stop for 5 minutes. She give 5 minutes, of course, written this thing. Brilliant. You can understand what the conference is there.
Is that the Indian girl? Was that the Indian girl?
No, she is a Western.
I don't know if I'm understanding this right, but so it seems like you have to be very intelligent and analytical to be mindful. But then to really be mindful, it's almost like you're going back and you want to be almost like an idiot again, right? Because you're intelligent to a point and then you turn everything off because essentially you're like spacing out, like not thinking about anything.
To earn mindfulness, you must be intelligent, you must be systematic. You have to earn it. Earn mindfulness means no intelligence, no system, you are just be. So two things. So therefore it is not a common business. Must be very, very intelligent. You must have to earn it. Once earn, be. So people intelligent, they don't know how to be. People they know how to be, they are not intelligent. The world is cut. So make yourself both. But you have to forget about everything and earn this moment. You know, we each one to earn this moment, how much we have programmed and calculated and kind of thing. And once we come here, still if you are going to talk about these kind of thing, another idiotness. Now be, just be. It is very difficult because that is rational, otherwise it's aesthetic. The brain left lobe and the right lobe. Left lobe is for the intelligence, right lobe is for the being, and always right is suppressed. Only the left is working. As far as left is working, it is torture. Never happy, always thinking, it is a man machine. So right lobe is just waiting up to the death, brand new. Never work.
I think it's confusing because the measure of intelligence is so different in this world. You know, it is by number of degrees and so that's a problem. So people think that's probably why
that thinking is a good thing.
So you listen to that young girl, you are too old, below 30. She is telling, I don't know what kind of intelligence, and telling you who is the leading world today, where it is leading. They are killing the earth, killing air, killing water, all the animals, but they can't stop it. What a pathetic situation, and still we are going to accelerate. And she stopped the world for 5 minutes and says, please consider where are we have faced, whatever the speed we are running. So we are self-destructive, system as well as individual. Okay, we'll postpone next to that tomorrow.
I have whether mindfulness has to be, whether mindfulness in a particular focus, like on the physical things, or else mindfulness on your thoughts, or mindfulness on your feelings, or that kind of way. Is the mindfulness in kind of category?
No, this is starting, you have a reference point, and later you understand to run the mindfulness even without a reference point. That is the advanced mindfulness. Just like a carpenter, put a ruler and put a mark, and he learn it, and even without the mark he can cut through. Put a mark and then cut, and he learn. Even without this thing he can continue. So likewise, mindfulness at the beginning, like a plane getting the momentum in the runway, and then it once gone into the air. The road traffic is not valid there. Road traffic valid till it is taking off.
I said this because I was following the Satipatthana Sutta, where I know it's kind of categorized. Mindfulness towards the Kaya part, the Vedana part, then the Chitta part, and the Dhamma part.
So master the first part, others will follow. Without mastering the first part, if you are going to analyze into intellectual, other part, no, you are not qualified. So first and foremost, you must have your own under the nose experience, and then slowly you can go. Others have some literal meaning. There's no intrinsic or any practical meaning, no pragmatic meaning.
Some people have advised to start straight from the third person.
I mean, it is good rather than following Las Vegas. Something related to Ratibata. Okay? So we have only 40 minutes for walking. So we'll cut into the piece, 50 minutes walking and 50 minutes sitting. So we'll come and sit here at 4:10. Thank you very much.